Now I have a feeling that Reign of the Seven Spellblades is about to be a hit anime. Not only does it come from an author that I respect, and obviously, if you see the title, you know what I'm talking about. Alderamin of the Sky was a very good anime, and I've heard nothing but good things about the light novel. Sadly, said anime never continued, despite deserving so. It was actually one of the best military style anime that I've seen over the past decade. So knowing that this author was working on this made my excitement go from, oh, here's a magical school anime to, wow, this is gonna have great world building. And almost immediately, you can tell that this is written by someone who's competent and knows how to write worlds, characters, and situations to be more than just the generic magic school series that you see about 10 of every anime season. And this show, from minute one, hooked me in, but I think it's the parade, when you see the parade of all the different varieties of creatures, that I was like, okay, this is the magical wonder that a good magic series will do, where, you know, this is basically deadlier Hogwarts. Like, that's honestly the best way to put it. 20% of the students who come to the school and graduate get consumed by magic, and there's a few different ways that means, but it's basically like, you're gonna die. So the fact that it already has a, like, 80% of people might be fine, it might be okay, but 20% is a pretty big number for people not making it, and the idea of being consumed by magic and spells is an interesting hook, but the idea of just immediately looking at this world and saying, okay, this actually feels like, rather than going the route of, because usually these types of shows, they do one of two things. Either A, they're just super boring with their info dump, and it doesn't feel like their info dump is anything new or original, or they just kind of rush through the generic settings to get to a big action set piece. And while there is a little bit of action around the parade portion, for the most part, this is kind of an establishing moment. But I think the best way I can explain this show is, like, imagine that first time when you read Harry Potter or you watch the first Harry Potter movie, and you immediately start seeing the magic side of that world. You're like, oh, I want to see more of that. I want to experience more of that. That's kind of what this does, and it immediately separates this world from your run-of-the-mill generic magic series that you see every other season. And yeah, the production is really solid. I think there's rumors that this might be a 15-episode season, but like I said, rumors, I'm not confirming that. So it does seem to me that, based on the hype I've heard about the light novels, based on the fact that it seems like the studio is probably going to take a lot of time and care to craft this, I think we're about to experience a hit in the making, and yeah, don't sleep on Reign of the Seven Spellblades. This is going to be a gem of this anime season. Now, full live reaction episode 1 is available on my Patreon if you would like to see my full uncut thoughts as I am watching today's episode. I'll be covering it there every week no matter what, so consider supporting if you want to see that. But like I said, this is a good first episode. I mean, almost right away, especially given that the first 2 seconds, 3 seconds of it is basically giving you like, hey, this world's crazy, 20% of the students don't make it. Cut to beautiful scenery, and I'm like, bro, what a whiplash. I was expecting some lightning flash in the sky, some dark, gritty atmosphere, and we got like sakura blossoms. It's a beautiful looking world. Maybe it's a little ominous that the flowers talking mad shit to every student, but I have to admit, it's beautiful. It really hooks you in, and I like the idea that there's enough mystery, whether it's our main character Oliver, and the idea of like there's this hooded woman who's basically kind of like stalking him, keeping an eye on him, comes from his brother apparently. So there's some mystery there, of course. I mean, he does talk about how he's able to craft and basically manipulate spells beyond ways that a lot of people would think to do. But the most interesting character was hands down the character that reminded me of Sasha from Attack on Titan, our favorite potato girl, because not only does the idea of speaking and saying things that you probably shouldn't to very powerful people, the ridiculously large appetite, but there is a darker twist to her character that I'm really interested in, and that is Nanano. So basically, we have this girl who is bubbly, charismatic, and just really seems like she's a cheerful person. But as seen by those scars, as she decides to bathe in the fountain in front of everyone's windows, no shame whatsoever, you see she's been through the ringer. And I mean, she literally says that she was about to get executed on a battlefield had she not been saved and then brought to this school. So ultimately, we know there's a lot of darker history there, and the idea of ending this episode with our boy saying there's like this whiff of blood that can't be washed away. Like, she's been through some things, and I'm sure that a lot of that positivity, that smile, is probably a shield to cover up some trauma that she's experienced. But I like the fact that on a personality level, she seems charming as hell. I like characters that are just, they don't read the room and maybe they don't think things through before they say things. So you basically have Hot Dumbledore of this world who is giving the lecture saying 20% of you probably gonna die, and you know what, any questions? And she's like, hey, did you know if you rub your temples, you know, migraines and stress goes away? Why? And she was legit dead ass just trying to give helpful advice. No idea why. I'm surprised she didn't get tossed out the room right then and there. And honestly, I like the fact that the magical side of this world is constantly in your face. It's the little moments, it really is. So ultimately, after professor's done giving the lecture, tosses all the students in the air, and when they come back down, there's tables and chairs everywhere. They weren't there before, but it's the idea of like, well, we need to set up so you guys can have dinner and get to know each other. Or the idea of like when the students are all talking with each other, they use their wand and they have a map and they point to kind of like some magical energy of where they come from. It's those little moments, because if you're truly in a magical world that is as natural as walking is for you or I, right? The idea of just constantly showing you those things, not with big fire explosion spell, but more so, oh, they're lifting the wine bottle to pour some juice in or whatever they're doing, right? It's the little things that naturally would happen. And I love the idea of just from minute one, and then, like I said, when that parade comes and you see, I'm surprised none of that was 3D. Like there's a beautiful griffin and dragons and just like all these different types of creatures. And you're like, yes, this has me interested. And when that ogre just kind of like, or troll, whatever you want to call that thing, basically comes a marching because someone uses a spell and forces this one girl to run up, and you just, I mean, the one dog or wolf gets like hit into the monument. I was like, okay, that's gotta hurt. And then the next one just gets flattened like a pancake. I was like, okay, yeah, this one could get brutal at certain moments. And honestly, I like the idea of even the spell casting and everything, and the idea of the mixture of wands meets blades. It's gonna be a very interesting show just because I trust in the author. I'm already trusting in the production, but most importantly, it feels like rather than this just being, okay, here's a magical-ish world where, yeah, they cast some magic and maybe there's a magical creature. No, it feels like magic is written into this world as some of the greatest magic series that we've seen in pop culture have, because you feel like, I want to be in this world. I want to experience the magical wonder of this world, and that's kind of the vibe I got off this. Without a doubt, it feels like Deadlier Hogwarts, where honestly, that's a selling point for me. If people don't like that selling point, I guess we just have different tastes. Like, I'm saying that with nothing but compliments. And it really does feel like something that's going to be special. I remember when Mashle was airing, because that's kind of like, you know, One Punch Man Goes to Hogwarts, a parody-ish show. And fantastic show if you didn't watch it, of course. And I remember people saying that, like, in the next season, we're going to have, like, a more serious Hogwarts-esque anime. And that's without a doubt this show right here. And if my excitement and passion isn't getting it through, let me say it one last time. This episode was great. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. And if the rumors are to be believed about the episode count, I mean, I'm very excited to watch this one for another 14 weeks, if that is how long it runs. But no matter what, I am here for this one through and through. But hey, those are just my feelings. Let me know what you thought, whether you were already planning to check this one out. Maybe you checked it out because I made this video. Let me know what you thought down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Of course, ring that bell so you get notified when I upload more videos to the channel. And like I mentioned, we do have a full live reaction to today's wonderful episode available on my Patreon. And hey, while you're there, you can also get a video shout-out, like Shock Blaster, Janet Horse, Nanana Hoshi, and Rory Winkle are getting today. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.